Hey guys, thanks for tuning into another video. Today, we're biting into comics, and we're looking at the rumored plans for Gina Carano's Cara Dune claim she was related to Princess Leia. Plot details for Scrap Rangers of the New Republic show revealed. The new rumor claims to reveal Jon Favreau and Lucasfilm's plans for Gina Carano's Cara Dune character, as well as plot details for the scrapped Rangers of the New Republic show. And I wonder if the whole cancellation of that show and stuff was one of the reasons that Favreau felt like he was kind of rubbed the wrong way. There's a lot of rumors that he's kind of stepped aside for a lot of stuff, and you wonder if that's part of it, because I think he had big plans for the show, and if she's related to Leia, he certainly did. So let's check this out. YouTuber Drunk 3PO appeared on Culture Casino's YouTube channel on Sunday night and provided details about what Jon Favreau and Lucasfilm had planned for Gina Carano's Cara Dune before the company unceremoniously fired her over a meme warning about the dangers of hating your neighbor. And some people have tried to turn that into she was saying that Republicans were like Jews. I think if you look at the context of the post, it's showing Jews being attacked by their neighbors. This is prior to them being carted off and brought to concentration camps. So her point, I think, the way my interpretation is she's saying, it starts with hating your neighbor just because they are who they are. And that's how the snowball starts rolling down the hill, and then it becomes something crazy. And we did have, at that time, you had a lot of the riots and things going on. Minneapolis was burning to the ground. People were hating their neighbor. And I think we're seeing that now. And that is typically very beneficial for the ruling class because it keeps your eyes off of them, right? And I think that's the point she was trying to make is look up, stop looking at your neighbor and look towards the people that are in places of control. That's my interpretation. People took it the wrong way. I don't think that's why she was fired. I think they just used that as an excuse. I think she was fired because she's just not into the whole trans movement, which frankly, I'm not really into it either. Do what you want. If you're a grown adult and you decide to go down that road, I don't really care. Personally, I care to the extent that I think we need to affirm people for who they actually are, and we don't want to be convincing people that they're the wrong person. But as far as people's rights and stuff, well, do what you want, man. But that doesn't mean I have to promote it. I think at the time somebody had said, "Oh, you need to put pronouns in your bio," and her response was, "Well, you do you. I'm not going to advocate for your decisions in life by putting pronouns in my bio because I don't believe in that." And I don't think someone should have to have a job in Hollywood. I think that's a little over the top. If she's sitting there bashing them all day and saying they're pieces of shit or whatever, that's one thing. But if you're just saying, hey, I don't want to advocate for this. So then she poked fun and did the beep bop boop thing because I think she was tired of listening to it. And then they made her sit through a big conference with 100 trans people over a Zoom call. Went through this whole big ordeal. That was an ill-advised tweet, but I would say to the trans community, why do you care so much? If she cares. Why do you care so much if she promotes you? Why do you care so much? Okay, she poked fun at you. Is there no sense of humor there? Who cares? I just don't know why it's such a big deal. She's a side character on a show, and you just got so bent out of shape because she poked fun at you. Again, it was an ill-advised tweet, but I think that's the tweet that actually was the straw, and then the neighbor going after neighbor Jewish reference was just sort of the way for them to be like, well, because, and let's face it, in our society, they use the sort of Jewish thing sometimes to overblow situations. That's, I think, what happened, and I think that was what they used as an excuse after the fact that it was really not about that. It was about her not being super keen on the whole trans movement. So, Drunk 3PO shared what they had for Cara Dune, the character. And by the way, he knows her personally, so I'm assuming she gave him this information and then gave him the green light to talk about it. That's my guess, because they're good friends. There's a lot of proof for that. What they had for Cara Dune, the character, she was going to be a descendant of Princess Leia, or related to Princess Leia, or in that family. So in Bail Organa's family, maybe. So maybe not directly related, but sort of a step, which personally, I wouldn't mind that. That's fine. She was going to have a show where she hunts down people. Cara Dune was going to hunt down people that were part of the Death Star that blew up Alderaan, and she wanted to go after them to seek revenge against. That was her home planet. Okay, you know what? That's actually a pretty cool idea. I think Favreau had the right idea there, and again, maybe that's why he's kind of ticked off. But she was related into this family that she doesn't know. So the Rangers of the New Republic, starring Gina Carano as Cara Dune, they were going to stop her from being an assassin and have her join this elite force to go on and take on these missions, to take on these little fractions of the Empire that are still out there. Again, conceptually, I like it. So they had books, they had comics, they had the character development stuff. There was even talk of a video game, all this stuff around this character, which again is all Favreau. This was his idea. They were all in. He continued, Cara Dune was an invented character from Jon Favreau, so Jon Favreau created that character and they had big plans, so they were looking for a woman that was, you guys have seen Gina, she's not thing, I think he probably said she's not thin, she's built. So that they wanted a woman like that. So they wrote this character specifically for her, and she says that all the time at the cons and everything else. Next, he detailed a convention appearance in Utah where Katie Sackhoff also appeared. When we were in Utah, Katie Sackhoff was there, and for whatever reason, whatever it's worth, those two went out and had a private conversation, and then they came back in like tears and hugs and everything. They were on the stage together in front of several hundred people to answer questions. They did a panel together, and I don't think they were supposed to. It was supposed to be a solo panel. I don't know the conversation, I don't know all that stuff, but whatever it was like a good thing that they talked and they did this panel together, so it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome to see. I think, regardless of what you think about her as a person, as far as like Disney and like interesting plot lines and stuff, you have to admit, even if you hate Gina Carano, that the character Cara Dune and the character of Bo-Katan coming together and doing something together, which this sort of alludes to, is pretty cool. It would have tied things in really neat, and then having the tie-in with Leia would have been pretty cool, and the motivation for Cara Dune to do the things that she was doing because she's from Alderaan and stuff. I don't see why they allowed a couple of personal thoughts to ruin that. They were, again, ill-advised, but it wasn't like it was that bad. I mean, people, come on. Like, how much feelings do you have? Some actor said this about my people. It's like, who cares? Who cares? How weak are people? Like, you don't even know her. So anyway, I just think this was a really cool idea, and this is super disappointing that they didn't do this. It would have been a nice show, too, where you wouldn't have a whole pile of Jedi. It would have been a really cool offshoot that would have worked. And then, of course, you have the Mandalorian and their relationship and stuff. It would have been a nice tie-in that I think the fact that it was lost for those reasons is kind of disappointing and kind of dumb. After recounting this, Drunk 3PO detailed, I think more and more people are getting ready to stand up against basically everything we've been screaming about, where they said that we had no idea what we were talking about. It's all like you guys were right to begin with. I think he's talking about like I guess the wokeness or whatever in Hollywood, and people have had enough. It's run its course. Let's just get back to good storytelling and stop worrying about social politics and everything else, and making sure every single solitary person is represented all the time. You can't really do that. It doesn't work. You can represent certain people at certain times, but you can't represent all the people all the time. You just can't write stories that way. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why you see things like historical figures now being race swapped, Tolkien's characters being race swapped. Like, if I write a story and I don't put a person of color in my story, that doesn't automatically mean I'm a bigot. It just means I don't have a person of color in this particular story. That doesn't mean you can't have other stories with people of color or whoever, transsexual, whatever. But you can't have everybody represented all the time. It just doesn't work. We saw that with Willow. We've seen that with all types of different shows and movies and stuff. It just doesn't work. You can't do that. So you have to write a story first, and whatever the demographics and whatever it is whatever it is. And if you feel like you need to do another story, well, sure, then you can have certain degree of representation of those others. You don't need to do it all. But that's the standard that Hollywood has created, and I think that's what he's alluding to. It's too much. 3PO stated, the day is coming, and I know the day is coming where there's a lot of emails, there's a lot of notes that someone has collected. When you see this, it will blow your face off as to how disgusting this woman is. Kathleen Kennedy and the people that running Lucasfilm, especially over there at the storyboard group. So I guess there's probably some emails from them to Gina, and maybe Gina's thinking she's gonna release some of that stuff. Referring to Carano's recent tweets about her time at Lucasfilm, he said, so you guys just got a little taste of what's to come. And Gina did do like a tweet about like how she was treated, and let's face it, like, you can say there's people out there like that was justified because she did the tweet that was bad. Okay, fine, but how does that explain how they treated John Boyega? How does that explain that? Right? That was them full-blown shrinking him on the Chinese poster. They did the same thing with Black Panther. They made sure he had his mask on. They filmed Mulan next to a gulag in China and then thanked them for it. Like, do you guys see that as a problem? Like, this corporation worship, I don't get it. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. Feel what you feel about Gina, but then don't let Disney off the hook. They're just, if you're going to say she's a bigot, they are also. Money comes first. Bigotry, they will allow to make money. So in China. So you can't have both. You can't hate her her and love them. If you say she's shit, they have to be too. That's where we're at. If you don't, you're a hypocrite. And that's, I think, the biggest problem with a lot of this. What are these genius roles, Cara Dune? Okay, so like I said, I really like the idea. I think that is a shame that it didn't go through. Whatever you think of Gina Carano, again, I think, ill-advised tweets and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just a couple of stupid tweets. I think we're making way too big of a deal out of this stuff. And I think a lot of people were just happy to see her go because of politics. She's conservative, they're not. And so they get loud on Twitter and they get loud on social media, and they're so happy that she got the boot because she's a conservative. Like, as if that, don't you just want good acting and good stories? Like, I don't care about these people's personal life. I honestly don't. In fact, entertainers should shut up about politics. The best and most successful actors don't talk politics. You don't see Tom Hanks raging about politics, and every time they do, once in a while they do, it affects them negatively. Because, dude, just entertain, just make your money. Keep your politics between you and your family and your friends. You vote how you want, but you don't need to broadcast. But that's what people want now. A lot of people want the actors to come out and show who they're voting for and what their politics are. And it's like, why do you need that? Why don't you just like the story? So I think that's part of the problem. And this was a cool story. This is a really cool concept. She was going to hunt down people that were part of the Death Star that blew up Alderaan, and that was the planet. It was her home planet. And she's got some sort of relation to, maybe through marriage or whatever, to Leia. What a cool idea. Favreau, good idea. I'm not a huge fan of Favreau's Star Wars so far. It's okay at times, but this was a really cool concept. What a shame, you guys. What do you guys think in the comments? Even if you hate Gina Carano, do you not think that would have been a really cool story to tell? And if they told it, would you be able to step aside from politics and step aside from the hatred of Gina and just accept that this is a cool show? Are you able to do that? Or is it just like, you have to bring the real world and what people think in politics into your entertainment? You just can't do without it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Would you have liked this show? Do you think it was a cool idea? Do you think that the booting of Gina Carano from Disney was really warranted? And was it worth it based on the show that they were going to create? And would you have enjoyed this show? And is it a shame that they didn't create it? Or are you like, yeah, good, I don't care, it sucked anyway, yay, more Ahsoka and space whales? Let me know in the comment section what you think. Thanks for listening and watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Once again, thanks everybody for getting me over 1,000. It's a good benchmark. And I have lots of other content on my channel. Please check any of that out if you so wish. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You have yourself a great day.